Please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get the regular updates of my channel, and do not forget to like, comment and share. Hello everyone, welcome back to SaaS with ServiceNow. This is part of ServiceNow Flow Designer training. The next lesson is flows in Flow Designer. In this lesson, we will learn about flows and their features. We will also create different types of flows in my personal developer instance. Flow. What is a flow? Flow is an automated process with a sequence of reusable actions such as update records, ask for approvals, create tasks, and send notifications. Flow admins can define trigger conditions to start a flow and variables to pass the information between actions. Component of flow. Flow consists of properties, trigger, action, and data which can be collected or created. Flow properties. Flow properties consist the information about a flow, like name, application, description, and run as. You have to provide these information when you create a new flow in ServiceNow. Flow trigger. Once flow is created, it gives you option to configure trigger condition for that particular flow, which you can select as per your requirement. In our first section, we learned that flow trigger is record based and schedule based. Flow actions. After configuration of trigger, you can add actions, and within actions, you can create actions, flow logic, and subflows. Flow data. Flow also has data, which is basically generated during execution of flow, or it is gathered. This data is available as variables in the data pane, and each variable has its own pill that flow designers can use that particular value of variable as input or output in flow actions and flow designer. Flow testing. Now, once you are done with creation of whole flow, then you can also perform testing in Flow Designer and see if your flow is working as expected. So whatever actions you have added in the Flow Designer, in the flow, you can test it with a particular record and see if you are getting the expected results. Flow execution. When flow is triggered and executed, then it tracks the whole execution in flow execution record, which you can access with executions button, which is available on the flow. So once your flow will be created, you will see a button as executions. If you will click on that button, so you can see the similar screen. If there are multiple executions happening for that particular flow, you can see those records. And if you will open one of the record, then you can see the execution details as well. Flow menu. Flow also has a menu which has some buttons to perform different actions related to flow. You can see properties button, which shows details of flow once clicked. So if you will click this button, it will show you the properties and similar properties when you create a new flow. Next is test, which is used to perform testing of the flow. Then you have executions. Now this execution button, basically it shows the list of executions for a particular flow. So if you have created a flow and if you will click on executions, it will show you all the executions happening for that particular flow. Then you have save. Now, which basically save that particular flow which you have just recently updated. So if you have created a flow, or if you have any existing flow, then you will see this save button enabled and you can click the button. Whatever changes you have done, you can save them. Now this save button, as I mentioned, will only be available to click when designer updates something in the flow, maybe actions or trigger or any other information. Then you can see activate, which gets enabled once flow is saved with latest changes. So once you have saved that particular flow, then you can see this activate button. Now once flow is activated, then you will see another button, that is deactivate, so that you can deactivate any particular flow. Next is, you can see we have more actions. So if you will click on these three dots, then you will see another kind of a pop-up which shows different menus. Now these options are available to perform some other actions on the flow, like stages, which is used to add stages to the flow for a particular item. I think stages will be mostly used for service catalog. So if you have used a service catalog, if you have created a service catalog item, and if you want to use flow designer, that means flow, in order to do that, you can definitely use stages like you have in workflow as well. Then you have manage catalog variable, which is used to manage the catalog variables which is available to service catalog triggered flows. Then we have copy flow, that means which is used to copy an existing flow with this button. Then we can see configurations, which is used to enable or disable some features. You can also call a flow, subflow or action. So there is an option which can give you the code to be used to call these items. So let's say you want to trigger this flow from somewhere else, maybe via code. Because then in that case, ServiceNow provides some APIs which you can use to trigger those flows directly from a script. Maybe you have written those scripts somewhere else, maybe in a business rule, maybe in a script include, and that's how you can trigger these flows directly from script, any different script, external script. When I say external script, maybe not in flow designer script, it must be maybe in script include, maybe in business rules. So that's how this particular code snippet button, it will give you the code, that what code you should utilize to trigger this particular flow which you are creating. And then you have manage security, which gives option to enable or disable the callable by client API option, which you can check if you want to call a flow from client side as well. Types of flow trigger. Flow trigger has conditions configured which start the flow. When trigger conditions are met, the system starts running the flow. And you have different types of trigger in flow in ServiceNow. The first one is record is created. Then we have record is updated. Then we have record is created or updated, which is now all these three, record created, updated, and created or updated, all these are related to table operation. And the next one is related to schedule. That means on a particular schedule. So if you want to trigger any flow at a particular date and time, that is something you can use in flow as well. Then you have application specific triggers. That means if condition is being met as per the application, then flow will also be triggered. As an example, service catalog. So let's say you have created a flow and you have referred that flow in a catalog item. Then once somebody will request that catalog item, then this flow will be triggered automatically. And the last one is inbound email. So if somebody is sending an email to ServiceNow, in that case, flow will also be triggered, and you can also configure that. I think inbound email is, you can say it is kind of replacement of inbound action. So in inbound action, you have to do scripting. However, in order to eradicate scripting, you can definitely use inbound email in flow as well. And so that you don't have to do any kind of scripting, and you can achieve a lot of functionalities directly with inbound email feature in Flow Designer. Record is created. Now you can select this trigger type when you want to trigger a flow once record in a table is created. and you can also mention the conditions. Then we have record is updated. You can select this type of trigger when you want to trigger a flow once record in a table is updated with the conditions mentioned. Then we have record is created or updated. Now you can select this type of trigger when you want to trigger a flow once record in a table is either created or updated with the conditions mentioned. Then we have a schedule. Now you can select this trigger type when you want to trigger a flow at a specific time or interval. You can select daily, weekly, monthly, once, or repeat after some interval of time. And then we have application specific. And you can select this trigger type when you want to trigger a flow related to SLA, service catalog, or inbound action feature. Creating flows. Now I will be creating few different types of flows in ServiceNow for different types of trigger we have in Flow Designer. First one is when record is created. Now let's say I want to create a problem task when problem is created. So whenever a new problem is created in the instance, then it should automatically create a new problem tasks which is also associated with the same problem. Now how can you achieve this functionality? So we can definitely achieve this functionality with the help of Flow Designer. We don't have to write any code. So for that I will go to my instance. I will click on this button to create a new flow, and I will click on flow. Here I will provide the information. So maybe I will give create problem task, and I will keep as is, like run as user who initiates the session. Application will be global for now, and then I will click on submit. Once I will click on submit, this will definitely create the flow and save this flow as well in draft stage. Then I have this options like trigger and actions. So as per the requirement, we have to create this problem task when new problem will be created. So new problem will be created will be the trigger. So for that I will click on this select to trigger, and I will select this record trigger that is created, and then I will select the table as well. I will select this problem. And I don't have to select any kind of condition. It's up to you if you will get the requirement. So you can also select the condition. But as of now, I'm just keeping it simple. So I'm just selecting the problem and I'm clicking on done. So I'm done with trigger. That means every time new problem record will be created, this flow will be triggered. And then I will click on action. So I have to add action now. Now what action we need to take? Basically, we have to create a new problem task. So I will click on action, and here I will go to this create task. So I will click on create task, and you can see we have this create task. I have to select the table. So I can select problem task. And what I can do, while creating this problem task, because we have to make sure this task is created and it is basically associated with the same problem. That means on problem task, that reference field we have for problem, it should be associated with this particular reference record. That means this record which we are going to create as part of this process. So I will select problem. So we have this problem. And I will just, so what exactly you can do now in this problem, it is a reference field. So either you can definitely select any existing problem. However, that's not the right way to do, because we don't want to make it static. So in that case, I want to refer same problem, which basically getting created as part of the process. So for that, I will use this data pill, which we have already talked about. That whatever data you are generating, whatever data you are gathering, you can utilize the same data into different actions, into different steps in Flow Designer. So similarly, what I can do if I click this, I can pick the data. So you can see as of now, I can just pick this one because this is the one which is creating the data. So if I click on this one, it will ask me that what exactly object you want to select. So I will select problem racket. The reason behind it, because system should tag this problem which is getting created to this particular problem task, so that I can see same task created under this problem which we are creating. So in that case, I will just make it maybe, or maybe we will add some more values, and maybe I will mention short description, and I will mention FD demo, that is Flow Designer demo, and I can just click on done. So I'm done with the task. So whatever action I need to take as part of this requirement, I'm done. So this will be creating the task. Once problem racket will be created, new problem racket will be created. So now you can see I got this save button. Even other buttons are also enabled. So as I have this new flow, it is also says, you can see it says modified. Now if I click on this button save, it will save this flow. However, this is still not active. That means even if I will create a problem racket, this flow will not be triggered. The reason behind it, because it is not activated yet. Now in order to activate it, you have to click this button, green button, activate. So if I click on this, this will be activated and a new button will be visible, that will be deactivated. Deactivate overall. So you can see now I got deactivate button, so that I can deactivate this flow as well. But the requirement we have, I really want to test it, I really want to run it, so we will not make it deactivate. So in order to test it now, I can definitely test it with this option, test, but we will test it directly by creating the problem racket. So what I will do, I will come over here and I will click on this create new button under problem, and I will create a new problem racket, and I will mention here FD demo, that is Flow Designer demo, and I will just click on save. Now this should definitely trigger that flow because condition is being matched, because problem is created. And then what I will do, I will just click on this executions button so that I can see the current execution. If you will click on that button, you can see it also got completed. And if I will click on that, I can see the same execution. So the one problem which we created, it has definitely completed the Flow Designer flow. So I can maybe check this racket first. So it is the same racket for, you can see 40002. We have this 40002. And if I click on this, maybe I can expand this one as well. This is for the same racket, and it has created a task successfully. You can see here P task, this. And if I will go here, and here is the table, here is the related list I have. And if I reload the form, let's see if I have that problem task under this problem. And yes, you can see FD demo, and we got this problem task associated with the same problem. So that's how you can create, that's how you can generate rackets, or you can trigger the flow in Flow Designer as per the actions, as per the trigger type you can select. So as of now, we selected racket created, which triggered the flow, and you can perform different types of actions as per your requirement you get from your customers and client. Let's create another flow and with a different trigger type, maybe for updated. So if I come over here and I will just close this, and this, I think this one as well, and I will click on this new button. I will click on flow, and I will mention problem is updated. I will keep as is, and I will click on submit. Now I will select the trigger as updated, and that updated will be for problem racket. So I will mention problem, and here I can, this time I'm going to use this condition. So let's say the problem racket is assigned to maybe network group. So I'm going to assign to network. If it is assigned to network, in that case, system should create problem task and assign it to network group automatically. even for existing problem record. So in that case, I will select this action, click on this, and I can just maybe click on create task, select problem task, and I can provide some values. Maybe I will first do problem. Now this is very important because you have to make sure that you are referencing the similar problem which you are updating. So in that case, I will mention select problem, same bracket. Here I can select the problem bracket, and I will add another value field, basically value for a field that will be assignment group, and I will mention network. And then I will mention short description as well. Network team investigation. That will be short description, and that's it. So I'm done. This is for updated, and I can click on save. I can click on activate. So this will be activated. Now we can utilize the same bracket, that is problem bracket. So in this case, let's say if I assign this, I will reload it, and I will assign this to network team, which will definitely trigger that flow. So I will select this, and now I will click on save. Once I will save this, that means this bracket will be updated with this new value in the assignment group. And if I will come here, if I click on executions, you can see it got in the queue. It has been added in the queue now. So I can just close this again. If you click on executions, you can see it got completed. And if I open this, I can see the details, problem updated. It also created the task. I can see it live. And if I reload this, and if I go a little bit bottom, absolutely, you can see this has been assigned. So it has created a new task, and it has mentioned the short description as well, network team investigation, and it has also assigned that problem task to assignment group as well. So this is how you can use another type of trigger. We also have different other types of triggers as well. However, you will see all those live scenarios, all those practical examples with other types of triggers in my next video. Moreover, we are not going to talk about actions right now because I don't want to show you actions right away. First, we will talk about actions, what different actions we have, how exactly we utilize different actions, and then I will show you basically all the actions with different triggers as well, so that we can club actions and triggers so that you can understand how exactly you can utilize Flow Designer with different triggers and different actions. So in next video, I will be showing you practical examples for all different types of triggers. But our focus will not be on actions. Action will still be very simple, like creation of a task or maybe sending some email. But if I talk about some other actions, because we have a lot of other out-of-the-box actions which you can utilize to achieve different kind of functionalities. But before that, before seeing the practical sessions, we will also see what kind of different actions we have. For that, we will have a separate session after my next video. Once we will get to know about all the actions, and then you will talk about, then I will show you all different practical examples, live scenarios for actions as well. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day.